Hey guys, so today we are going to talk about how to find the perfect virtual assistant online. So this is really going to be the difference between people who are successful entrepreneurs and people who end up just working in their business, right? So as an entrepreneur, most of you guys who are starting out, at some point you want your goal to be to work on your business and not in your business. Now, when you're first starting out, working in your business is going to be inevitable for most of you, right? You won't have the capital and the resources and the skills to be able to work on your business as much as you will be working in your business. But at a certain point, you will need to hire people and you will want to work on your business. And that's never going to happen if you're going to be dealing with all the problems and all the things that inevitably come with any new business. So without further ado, we'll go into it. So as you may or may not know, my favorite company to go on and actually recruit people is Upwork. Their freelancing platform is better than anything else I've seen. And really, the best talent across the world is on that platform. And you get some people with lots of experience, at a very, very good price point. I always say that for every $10,000 USD you would spend on an employee, you're going to get that equivalent type of performance with someone at Upwork for $1 USD an hour, right? So if someone charges you $8 USD an hour, you're getting someone who would be equivalent to $80,000 a year, which is obviously a huge saving because just doing some quick math, $8 an hour is about 64 a day. Let's say there's 250 working days, so that's about 10 times, let's say 100, so 64 times 100 is 6,400. And then multiply that by 2.5, about 15,000 a year. So you can get someone who is literally as good as an 80,000 a year employee for just 15,000 a year. That's huge because with that 65,000 dollars, you can essentially spend money on advertising. You can spend money on other very, very good people. Like literally you can get 6 or 7 amazing global VAs at the same price as someone who is as good as one of them. And that's just game changing for any business that's looking to grow because ultimately, I've said this before, you are not scalable. Your business is scalable, but you are not scalable. So the only thing that's going to prevent you from scaling is having to deal with all the problems within your business, all the challenges, all the operations, right? Even if it's the smoothest run machine, there's still an operational component to really any business. So to have very competent VAs, I like to call them global team members, is going to be the difference between the people that ultimately scale and the people that just run a small business and work in that business. Nothing wrong with either, but just if you are in that situation where you're kind of small and you find you're getting to a point where you're plateauing, finding some virtual assistants that end up being more than just assistants but core global team members is going to be huge. So Upwork.com, really the best site on the internet to find these people, and depending on what you're looking for, you're going to want to look for specific type of rates and specific countries, right? So if you like technical support, obviously India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, they seem to be very cost effective, and they also seem to be very competent on the tech front. They're very, very strong countries on that front. So if you're looking for something tech related, now you got to be really careful on Upwork. There's a lot of agencies where the person who started the agency is super talented, but then they are subcontracting it to their employees or virtual assistants. And sometimes when an agency is too big, they may be very good at sales, but they're not going to be as competent with delivering. So I actually personally don't like to hire the agency models because the people running those agencies are generally entrepreneurs and they're looking to scale and eventually become like the Walmart of the agency business for whatever niche they're advertising. So I like to find freelancers that are relatively new but have a lot of experience doing whatever they do. So maybe they've only earned 1,000 or 5,000 on Upwork so far. They're solo freelancers. I look for reviews that have lots of descriptions about how great the person is. Generally speaking, if someone blows you away, they're going to have reviews that really indicate that, okay, these people have made their clients so happy that their clients actually took the time to go and write a review. And even if they're the same as someone with more like simple reviews, it could just be they're better at marketing themselves and that kind of thing. And those skills are also very valuable because those are the same people that are going to pay attention to detail and really understand what's important. So really looking for reviews that look like the freelancer has pushed their clients to write a true reflection of their experience, which should be super happy and blown away. You generally do not want to hire people who are not going to blow you away. That's not just a tip for hiring online freelancers. That's just a tip in general, because you might be able to spend maybe 20-30% less, but the quality of work could be like 200% less. So it really is not a good idea to, at these small amounts where it might be like a $4 versus a $7 or a $5 versus an $8. Do not be cheap. Get the best person. But a lot of times a $5 person will also market themselves as an $8 person, right? So you have to negotiate them down. Look for people that are kind of a little more strict with their negotiation because they know their value, and look for people who are just very confident in themselves and their abilities. And also, especially on Upwork, try to not let them log time manually. They should be doing the screen record where every few minutes screenshots are taken. So you can actually review the screenshots that were taken and really make sure that they're fully accountable. And they don't actually get paid until the screenshots total the amount of hours that they're billing for. So I really like to do that. Anyone who's suggesting to log time manually, it's definitely not a good idea in 99.9% of cases. Definitely get those Upwork screenshots. And even if you don't recruit on Upwork, you have global team members from other places. I use a software called Time Doctor. It does the exact same thing. Time Doctor isn't a freelancing platform. It's just that screenshot kind of software. So definitely, you need to keep your people super accountable, whether they're global team members or they're local to wherever you live. Definitely Time Doctor. If you're not using Upwork, if you are using Upwork to recruit people, use Upwork's screen recording software, and don't let your VAs log time manually, because it's just human nature to kind of cut corners a little bit when you aren't getting watched. It doesn't mean people are misrepresenting themselves. It's just human nature. All employees, all team members do it. Next tip I want to give you guys is please don't hire people to be kind of full-time core team members if they have other obligations, unless they've given you a specific timeline to end those obligations, right? So if you're just looking for someone for like a part-time project, maybe they're helping you with SEO or Google Ads or something like that, that's fine. They could have multiple clients. You just have to hold them accountable by looking for specific results and tying their compensation to getting those results, and monitoring them and having weekly meetings. Very important. And making sure that they're holding you accountable and you get them everything they need to achieve what they're looking to achieve, right? So targets, specific benchmarks, and compensation based on as results, which is actually good for all team members, but especially people who are part-time freelancers. A lot of times those will be like the smaller agencies that you might want to take on for something part-time. But for full-time core team members, don't hire anyone through the agencies. Don't hire anyone who's having multiple clients. You want people with full-time focus, right? In terms of customer service, so non-tech, we definitely recommend the Philippines. Philippines is really good. Malaysia's not bad either. Philippines, they tend to have good English and lots of training from a lot of these big companies that invest in training them and building up their skill set and teaching them customer service and keeping them organized. So you can get a lot of supervisors in different units within companies like Microsoft or AT&T who have a lot of experience, and they've set up shop in the Philippines, and you can offer their employees work from home kind of arrangements when you find them on Upwork. So if you find specific let's say companies that are training grounds for rockstar VAs, you can look for people in those companies in those specific departments, and that's kind of a bit of a hack in terms of finding good people, because a good person is going to make your life 100 times easier. A bad person is not going to change your life that much. So you really want to find those good people, and you should be I typically interview an average of 10 to 15 people before I hire for a role. Most people say you should do 3 or 4. I find 10 to 15 is a better number. It takes a long time. It's really annoying. You have to screen for a while, but especially if it's an important role, I don't mind doing it myself, because really the people are like the most important. And even if my team members for each business can do it, I prefer to really get involved into the recruiting, because the recruiting is the heart of your business. It's the heart of your culture, and it's the heart of everything that your company is going to be about. And how strong the people are within your company is also going to impact how the other people within your company feel about your company, and how they feel about you as well as your leader. If you can build a team around you full of rock stars, whereas if some of the team is not as good and the other people are picking up the slack, it creates a bad culture, and it also doesn't reflect well on the leadership, in terms of recruiting and setting people up, right? It should be completely fair, completely merit-based, and only rock stars if you really want to build a great company, and don't settle for anyone less, because most people are going to be less, and it's really going to have a huge impact long-term when you find those rock stars. I cannot emphasize enough, pay more for the rock stars, don't overpay for the people who aren't as good. You will make mistakes in hiring, but learn very quickly what their performance is going to be, and don't be afraid to fire people after a month if they're not performing, because you don't have time to waste. You have to find the best people that are going to allow you to execute on things and eventually move up and make bigger decisions, and kind of eventually hire people below the people that you've hired, and really build something that is scalable, if that's your goal. If that's not your goal, that's totally cool as well. But if your goal is to build something and grow it and scale it eventually, these are the types of things that you have to start thinking about. So hopefully you got some good insight. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. You can also subscribe to our channel if you want to get more insight, especially related to small business. We're going to be doing a lot of really cool segments on that. So definitely feel free to keep checking us out.